span of about 20 minutes. It'll be a good time, I promise. Okay, so the very first thing that we did with them is we did instrument tryouts. What Mr. Brown and I did, and this wasn't just band, like this was orchestra too. What we did is we went around to all their classrooms and we let them try out the instruments. So everybody got to play everything. Not everything, like everybody got to play flute, clarinet, trumpet, and trombone. And then from there, as you know, they picked their instruments and then we started to have them in class. Whenever we first had them in class, we did not have them, we've never had them in this big group. There's one time in the history of ever that we had them in this big group, and that was about 3 hours ago. When we very first started, Mr. Brown would take the trombone players and I would take the trumpet players. And then on alternate days, Mr. Brown would take the clarinets and percussion, and I would take the flutes and saxophones. So we did this so that way we could work on some of just the fundamentals of playing an instrument. Now, you may be thinking to yourself, what is a fundamental of playing the instrument? I don't know, maybe like how to hold it. We started before how to hold it. We started to how to put the case on the floor and open it safely without all the pieces falling out, because that's a thing that happens. And sometimes they don't know that there's a right side up to the case and there's not a right side up to the case. So we worked on that for a little while. We worked on how to hold the instrument. If you hold up a trombone players like just hold them up. That's not a very complicated instrument. You grab the slide, you do this, and that's the trombone. Okay, hold up your trumpet players. Also not very complicated. You got 3 buttons. It is what it is. All right, now woodwind players, hold up your instruments. Yeah, look at all those stupid keys. Look at that nonsense. Seriously, like, teaching flute players how to hold a flute was like, stay, don't move, for 15 minutes. Because it was like, every single time you'd like move their picky to the right place, they'd be like, I don't want to put it there. So you'd have to like put it back. So this is like what we did for the first few days. And then eventually what we did is we started forming our embouchure. Our embouchure is the shape that our face makes while we're playing an instrument. We still work on that. Like, we are still developing our embouchures. Mr. Brown and I, who both play our instruments regularly, are still working on our embouchures. Like, it's a thing that we're always just going to work on. But we worked on that so that we could at least develop some kind of a decent sound. There was a lot of playing by rote at the very beginning. There was a lot of playing by rote means that, like, I'm just going to tell you what buttons to push down, and we're going to all play the same note without necessarily telling them how to read it, without necessarily showing them music. Like, we just played by rote for a little bit. We all got to the point where we had our first 5 notes learned without having any music in front of us. And then the challenge was, okay, now you got to put music in front of them so that they can start reading it. So we're going to show you that first. The first note that we learned is the one that we're getting ready to play. Before we play it, we got to talk about rhythms, because we also have to count our music. That's the difference between like reading music and reading a book. Like, you can read a book and that's great, but when you're reading music, that's in time, right? So we have to work on that too. So the first thing that we learned was about a whole note. Okay, everybody, how many beats does a whole note get?
4 beats.
Okay, everybody, how many beats does a whole rest get?
A whole measure.
I was worried they were going to say 4 beats, but they said a whole measure, and I'm really proud of them. Good job. All right, now we're going to count this one for you. Okay, count. Oh, sorry, you go.
You go? I go? You go. Okay. 1, 2, ready, go.
And now they're going to play it.
1, 2, here we go.
Okay, I want everybody to imagine, like 3 months ago, whenever these kiddos came home with their instruments for the first time, and they put them together and they played them for the first time at home. And I want you to remember what that sounded like. Yes? Now I want you to multiply that by the number of kids you see here. And I want you to think about how that sounded the very, very first time that we ever did that. And then I want you to appreciate what they just did. Because it didn't sound like wailing animals. Yes, you can clap for that. So then, very quickly, like, that was number 2 in their book. Number 3 in their book was the second note that they learned. We would count this whenever we do it, but we're not going to count it right now because it's the exact same rhythm, so they're going to play the second note that they learned.
1,
the third note that they learned. So our book starts with those three notes. Now there are some method books. This is our method book. Now, when I say ours, I don't mean like Mr. Brown and I wrote it. We're not that cool. But there are some method books that start the kids off on their first 5 notes, reading 5 notes like all at once. And we used to use that method book. It's not just one, there's a couple that do this. And it was like very overwhelming for them. Like 5 notes right off the bat is really overwhelming. So this book, it kind of waters it down, not waters it down, but it just gives them 3 at a time. And so like the very next 2 pages of the book is only those 3 notes. And so it is just working on them playing just those 3 notes, being able to track the difference between those 3 notes, being able to read those 3, and making sure that they can do the buttons between them. So we're not going to play all of those, but we are going to play one of them for you. This is number 7.
1, 2, ready, go.
And then about at this point, we learned our next new rhythm. So we had learned about whole notes. The next rhythm that we learned about was half notes. Okay, everybody, how many beats does a half note get? 2. How many beats does a half rest get?
2.
Well done. Let's count number 12, not 2, 12.
1, 2, count, go.
Very shortly after that, we learned about quarter notes. Okay, before they, well, no, I lied. They're going to count this one first, and then I'll talk about our counting system. Count number 16. Oh, wait, I forgot my part. How many beats does a quarter note get, everybody?
1.
How many beats does a quarter rest get, everybody?
1.
Okay, count number 16. 1, 2, count 2, ready, go. Now before they play that one, some of you might be noticing, well, you might be noticing a couple things. Like, one, if you were ever in band and you were ever counting music, you probably didn't count it like what they're counting it. You probably counted it like 1, 2, 3, 4, or like if you're talking about eighth notes, like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and cool. So this counting system is essentially the same thing as that counting system. It just takes the numbers away from them. Now, the main reason that we like to use this counting system is because it takes the concept of numbers out of the music for at least whenever they're just learning how to count. And the reason why this is a good thing is because if you were to think, if like you can imagine in your head, like the rhythm, a quarter note and a half note and a quarter note, and you were to count that, you'd say 1, 2, 4. But as a kid, you don't want to say 1, 2, 4. You want to say 1, 2, 3, because 3 comes after 2. Now, this is a really like simplified version of that. Whenever you get into a lot more complicated music, that gets a lot more complicated that now they have to start thinking like, oh, I got to skip the number 3 now, and I have to get to 4, right? This takes that complication out of it. You'll also notice that some of them are going like this. No, we are not working on karate. This is just how we keep the beat, right? And this like is helping us subdivide between quarter notes and eighth notes, which they don't know yet, but it's fine because we'll get there eventually. Did we play 16?
We have not played it. We are going to play it. 1, 2, 16, and ready, go.
So then, one of the other things that we have to talk about is we talk about embouchure, right? Embouchure is the shape that our face makes, but we also have to talk about our tongues because sometimes kids don't realize that they have a tongue and they don't use it whenever they play. So sometimes whenever they start playing, like on that example, they go like this. This is me just blowing air and not using my tongue, right? So if you hear that sound, chances are that's a kid that doesn't like use their tongue yet. We've got lots of kids that don't use their tongues. It's just a thing, like they have to get used to it. We work on it. We work on that with our middle school kids. Like it's just a thing. Either way, that's one of the things that we do to kind of work on that. Our brass players, they start with that exercise every day where they're going. And they go up all the notes that they know. Just so that they can start working on their tongue to make sure that they get it functioning, because if it doesn't, it sounds really bad. The other thing that you'll notice is that I have my trumpet with me right here. If you were to see Mr. Brown teach, you would have his clarinet with him. We are playing with the kids almost constantly. If I'm not playing my trumpet, I'm playing this nifty little keyboard that's right here. The cool thing about this keyboard is I can play trombone notes, and I don't because I don't normally play trombone, but I can play them on here and then they can hear how low they're supposed to sound. This is so that they have a concept of what the notes are supposed to sound like. It gives them a good idea of good tone quality and all those kind of things. Okay, at this point, we learned our fourth note, 19. Let's just play it. And then let's just do our next new note that we learned. So that was number 21 in their book. It took them 21 numbers to get to that fifth note. Again, it's just helping them solidify those ones before that. Additionally, they knew that note before they started to play out of the book at all. Like that was one of the first 5 notes that we had taught them. So it's not like they didn't know it. It was just showing them what it looked like. Okay, let's play the first 5 notes of 22. Do it as half notes. So ta, ta, ta. Ready? 1, 5 of them. 1, 2, ready, go. So that's kind of like the first version of a scale that we're ever going to learn. That's what we call our 5-note scale, right? Of like if you're going to stay here for the 6th grade concert, which you shouldn't because there's a lot of people there and they have to sit here too, but if you happen to be staying for the 6th grade concert, you're going to hear them play a full scale, right? These kids have learned half of the scale so far. We use this as our warm-up, so do the same thing except play it as quarter notes. Ta, 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 ta. 2, ready, go. Again, we're just building finger-like patterns, right? Like, Mr. Brown and I as professional musicians use these every day as professional musicians. So if they're starting this young is just getting used to the pattern of whatever it is for their instrument, it just reinforces that over time. We're gonna skip the rest of that one because I don't really want to listen to it right now. Not because they don't sound good, they sound great. Number 23. So now we're at a point where they can play songs. So we're gonna play Mary Had a Little Lamb. Watch it.
1, 2, ready,
Okay, we're gonna do another. Oh yeah, you can clap for that. We're gonna do another simple song. I'm not gonna even attempt it because every time I try and say, should I try and say? Au clair de la lune. I think that's the best I've ever done. Thank you. I deeply appreciate it.
It was a very low standard. 1, 2, ready, go.
So really up until until that song, but you can see how like we work a lot on concepts, but now we have to put those concepts to good use. So we'll throw little songs at them every once in a while in the book, so it's not just like, okay, we're just gonna play a whole note here for half an hour. Now, like, we have to learn some songs too. Speaking of songs, Mr. Smith was kind of side-eyeing me for this one, but I don't really care because it was the next song in the book that they were learning. I realize that it is just November, and it is barely November, but we're gonna play Jingle Bells. So, oh, someone got excited. Yeah, let's go. God, oh yeah, pre-round of applause for that one.
1, 2, ready, go.
Okay, this is it. This is literally the moment that all of you showed up for. We're gonna play hot cross buns. Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah. Now, we've got a couple of different ways that we're gonna do this. The first way we're gonna do it is we're gonna count it first, because when we first learn how to play hot cross buns, we learn how to play it relatively slowly to what you would sing it at. So the very first thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna count it so that they don't rush whenever they play it. We're gonna count it so that they can do it slowly. So let's count.
Ready, 1, 2, count, go. Now play it that fast. Ready, 1, 2, ready, go.
You can see how excited they are. They're like, oh man, we want to go. We want to play fast. Okay, so, but the problem with that is that's not how we sing hot cross buns. So let's sing hot cross buns. Ready, go. Hot cross buns. You don't want to hear.
Hot cross buns, 1 a penny, 2 a penny, hot cross buns. Now let's play it that fast. Ready? 1, 2, ready, go.
Give it up for the Discovery Fifth Grade Band. So we will do another one of these style of concerts. We'll do another Informance in March, right? I think. Sometime in March. And it'll be a similar thing. We have no idea what we're going to do for that one yet because it'll all just depend on how far they've gotten in their books. I thought I was going to say something else, but I don't really remember what it is. Oh, I remember what I was going to say. I would love to sit around and talk to everybody, and that would be a wonderful thing, but the 6th graders have their Informants in like 20 minutes, so I got to kick you all out. So thanks for coming, but bye.
Thank you. Yeah.